Doing the final demo for the Enright Cattle Company Farmer's Box. What I have left over, sorry, not left over, but at the end, I wanted to do like a final dinner. Okay, so what we will be doing is a bacon wrapped meatloaf and a salad of goat cheese, beets, and then Max's greens as well. Okay, so we're gonna go into the meatloaf right now because it's gonna take a day in advance to make. Okay, so my ingredients are 3 pounds of the ground beef, 2 eggs from drained poultry. I have some onions from Patchwork Gardens, and then now for the other meatloaf stuff, we're gonna put some chopped garlic, some Worcestershire sauce, catsup, some panko, and then I'm going to add some spice mix that we use. It's from Cured Spice in Prince Edward County. They actually make our gravy blend for our gravy. So just going to shout out to them. That's these guys. So I'm going to use their spice blend. It's not the Burger Rev gravy blend, but this is their beef and brisket blend for the meatloaf, okay? So let's mix it all together. I'm going to do some garlic first. And onions. Basically, you're just going to mash it all together. I mean, I know you guys are probably just waiting for this one. What am I gonna do with all this ground beef that I have? And this is the perfect thing to do. You can make meatloaf, you can make, you can make meatballs. I didn't do like a spaghetti and meatball thing because again, you guys know how to make spaghetti and meatballs. But probably you know how to do meatloaf as well, but not bacon wrapped meatloaf. So, So the fun part about meatloaf is this part, okay? Make sure your hands are clean. I really clean my hands so it's all sanitized, but I'm just gonna take this off, but you know, I'm gonna put it right there because I don't wanna get all meaty and ketchup-y and gross-like. So this is just, you know, after a long day of working and you just want to massage, think of a sensual massage. Anyway, so
I'm waiting.
Oh, I don't know if you heard that. The executive producer was saying she's waiting. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So you don't have to like work it in too much because it's going to meatloafify. Okay. Now I added all the stuff. Now I'm gonna add. It's about 1.5 cups of panko. The panko, you can use any type of breadcrumb as well. I just like using panko. Why? Because you get to say panko. 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 So, yeah, you don't want to work it too much because it's just going to get tough. Okay? You just want all the panko to be gone. The reason why too, because it's going to help it shape the meatloaf. It won't shrink on you when you do meatloafs. Okay? So I'm going to mix this, going to let it rest, and I'm going to go to the bacon terrine mold after I wash my hands. Be right back. Now we're on to making the bacon part of it. That's going to wrap the meatloaf, okay? So you could use like a 9x3 pan. I just have a terrine mold, and anytime I get to use it, I'm going to use it. So just, you know, a pound of bacon's good. Sliced, that's fine. So you're gonna go like this. And you're gonna line it so there's a little bit of an overlap. And don't worry because we're just going to you're gonna fold it over into the meat after. Okay. Oh, that's all good to go. Your oven is going to be at 375. Okay, so you could get that going way before. Okay, so now my mold is all lined up with bacon. And all you're gonna do is easy. You're just gonna put it in. All right, and it's just simple. You just fold it over. Dee-dee-dee. Or whatever is there left over. See, that's why. Ta-da! You're like, what? That's not gonna work. Right there, man. See? Executive producer was like, no, no. This is gonna work. It's gonna work. Okay, so I'm just gonna quickly wash my hands 1 second. Okay, so your oven is at 375. All you gotta do right now is take, well, I have this lid, so I'm gonna put this lid on. What you could do is just take a piece of foil, cover your meatloaf, and then you're gonna put it into a deeper dish, right? So you see this cake pan, this would go in here, and now I'm gonna take some warm water. And at least go halfway up. Or whatever your depth of your cake pan is. So after that, we're gonna pop it in the oven. La la la. And then we're gonna bake it for about 1.5 hours. The easier way really to do this was just to pull this out, like the more safer way was me to put this pan in, take out the rack, and then pour it in the water. So I didn't do it safely, I just did it my way, which is always not safe, but anyways. Practice, safety first, safety first. So we're just gonna go for 1.5 hours, and then after that, you have to let it set. And I'll show you after, and then you have to go in the fridge, and then once it's all set, then we go into bacon meatloaf mode. Okay, so while we are waiting for the meatloaf to set, we're going to start off with the salad, the side course. Okay, so what was left in the Enright Farmer's Box was the Patchwork Gardens beets. So they gave golden beets. And how we prepared them, we actually went ahead and I pressure cooked them, but you could steam them really. Steaming, or let's say if you're gonna boil them in water, for this size, that's gonna take about 15 to 16 minutes. Pressure cook, it took about 8 to 9 minutes for that. Okay, so I just cooked it until you could like pierce it easily through. Okay, so if there's no if it gives easy like that, then it's ready to go. Once they're cooked, you could just run it under cold water until it's cooled off. I peeled them, and then now you'll see what I'll do them after. But first, we're gonna make the vinaigrette. Okay, so just a basic vinaigrette. And the rule of thumb for any vinaigrette is 3 to 1. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this right now. We have garlic, Dijon mustard, some chopped herbs, honey for sweetness, cider vinegar, and olive oil. Okay, so again, the rule of thumb is 3 to 1. Okay, so 1 is the vinegar. So if I put like a 1/4 cup, that would be 3/4 cups. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so after that, that's about 2 cloves, 1.5 cloves of garlic chopped. Okay, Dijon, some honey, and this is just like a base vinaigrette. You could use this, and you could use any type of vinegar that you want. You could add truffle oil to it after, so it could be like a truffle vinaigrette. You could add a lot of things: orange juice, pineapple juice, any kind of sort of vinegar, right? Or not vinegar, but some sort of, if you want to like make it taste like that. So I added some salt, and I added about a teaspoon of the chopped herbs as well. Okay, so if you have an immersion blender, then you could stick the wand in and then press the button, and it goes all the way up, and it becomes a vinaigrette easy. If you don't, this is what you get to practice your mixology and pretend that you're making a martini. So we're making a vinaigrette-tini. So you just shake. What is that? It sounds delicious. Yes, you're gonna have a delicious vinaigrette soon. And welcome, you can see my guns too. Like the tiny guns. So, and there you go. And then this is perfect because all you have to do now is every time you can leave it in the fridge, and then anytime you want a salad, just give it a shake, and you're good to go. Okay, but we want to taste it first, right? So, yep, it's sweet, it's tart, it's delicious. Okay, so now I'm gonna keep this to the side, and then we're gonna go on to the beets. I'm gonna clear this, and I'm gonna cut the beets and all that stuff. So we have our vinaigrette, and now we're gonna go into the salad portion, okay? So magically I was like, hiya! And then now it's all chopped. The beets are all chopped, okay? So these are from Patchwork Gardens, for like the last of, from the box of the Enright Farmers box. Now I also have Greenwheel Farms microgreens and some goat cheese. Okay, so if this was all together, which you could see like this, and I just basically cut them so we could pretend, watching, and they're all good. Okay. Right now with Max's microgreens, that's from Belleville, Ontario, we are using the Triton radish and bok choy and broccoli. Okay. So I want to kind of do this like a serving style, like a family style. So just into circles. Take now the greens. You don't want to take too much of the vinaigrette because everyone could help themselves after. Okay, give it a taste if it's good enough. Oh, it's yummy. And plop it right down in the middle. Okay, now, just to finish it all off, we're gonna add a little bit of salt, some fresh cracked pepper, and then a little bit of the vinaigrette just drizzled on top of the beets. Okay, so again, this is like a family style where people could grab how much beets and how much Max's greens you want, but this is a pretty solid dish. Now we're gonna move on to the meatloaf. Okay, so it's been a day after the meatloaf has been cooked off in the oven for 375 for an hour and a half. After that, you'll notice that there'll be a lot of fat around the container. It'll shrink by a little bit, but this is the end result. you take it out to let it set. So basically you made like a pate, pretty much, okay? Now we're going to cut this guy. And your guideline basically is each bacon is a portion of per person, okay? So we'll probably get around 8 slices. And you can see there, it's super yummy. So I'm gonna put this to the side right now, and we're gonna cut it off from here, okay? Like that's a pretty good or Ermagerd kind of piece of meatloaf. You're gonna want to kind of like with the ends. This is my favorite part. Just like bread and like beets and whatever. It's because especially when it's wrapped in bacon, because this is the piece that everyone's gonna want because it's gonna be so crispy and crunchy, and you got that little meatball thing. So anyways, okay. So cooking it wise, it's already seasoned. Okay, a lot of salt already, so you don't need nothing. You just have your pan, non-stick preferably. Okay, it's going. Ours is going right now. And a little bit of oil, whatever oil that you want to use. Okay, we use canola, but you could use coconut, avocado, grapeseed, whatever you'd like, whatever your preference is, you do it. Okay, and all you're gonna do now is basically you want to cook the bacon. Okay, so you don't want to go too high because right now the bacon's gonna react to the oil in the pan, and you're gonna be holding this thing, and this is kind of, it's on medium low. Okay, you just want the color for the bacon. Okay, but you got to be careful. So as my executive producer was saying, either you could use tongs, which I'll show, because or chopsticks, whatever that will help you hold the meatloaf. Okay, you can see there now, it's gonna take fast. It's not gonna take long at all. Okay, you just want that color on the bacon. Now, if you're serving this, how we're serving it was as a family style thing. So leave your oven on about 250, just under 300. You can leave this on a baking sheet with parchment paper, like lined with parchment paper. And then after that, after each one is going, you can place it on there, keep it warm. Okay? So once this is basically going, as you got all the 4 corners like started, then you could drop this guy and get those outside, like the inside of the meat all nice and caramelized. Okay? So if there's any leftover for this, and there will be, this is the perfect sandwich. Okay? All you have to do is what you're doing right now. Just take this. There's so many variations you could do with this. You could take some, say, if you have any leftover marinara sauce, this is like the perfect meatloaf sandwich for like with meatball, like a meatball sandwich, right? And it's wrapped in bacon. Then you add cheese. Oh my gosh, right? Like it's just crazy. Or you could just have barbecue sauce and coleslaw. Again, the sky is the limit for this, okay? You could do anything you want, whatever, like just like lettuce, tomato, and mayo. That's fine too. Okay? So now this is what you're looking for, this kind of color. Okay? And the smell of this coming out is just so yummy. And super happy how this is turning out. The Enright beef with like the Patchwork Garden beet, the urban, oh my gosh, urban herb. Just say urban herb. But okay, so this is like perfect dish happening. Like this is like all about local, right? So Enright beef, of their ground beef, right? And then Patchwork Garden beet. There's the drained poultry eggs in that meatloaf. Then there's Greenville Farms, their microgreens. So this dish is like within the area. Well, we're from the Quinny area, right? So This is within our area, man, and this is amazing how all this stuff is just here, and you could make it all here, right? So, okay, so we're just going to go ahead and start plating and everything, but I'm just doing only 2 people right now because there's only 2 of us for now. But I was saying as you could do it as a family style and everything, okay? But honestly, this is just for me, so this is like 1 person, so 2 people for 1 person. Anyway, so it's nice and caramelized. You can see that if you want to go in there and see zing. Okay, so it's again, meatloaf is already pre-cooked. It's like cooked all the way through. The bacon is all nice and crispy, and then now you just want to portion it. Okay, so if I was going to be nice and everything, I would just do this, and then I take some either greens and make it look even more fancy schmancy. And there you go. Okay, so it's a bacon wrapped meatloaf with a beet and goat cheese salad and microgreens as garnish, but it was a salad too. Okay, with a nice vinaigrette. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed these demos. That's pretty much all of the items that were in that box, about 7 items or so. I could go more. I think there was an extra pound left of beef, and I would do like a meatloaf, or I mean, sorry, not a meatloaf, but like a spaghetti and meatball thing. But I think you guys know how to do that already. But we did have like extra carrots, so I'm going to actually pickle those carrots, just like how you do like a regular pickle, but pickled carrots, and that's awesome too. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed everything. We're probably going to continue and doing more things that are around our area. So I'm already off the top of my head. It's like Hanover View Farms, Ivanlay Farms. They have pork that's amazing that we use at both restaurants. There's a lot of veg guys around. Vader's Lamb and PEC. The cheese guys. There's tons of cheese and curds and everything. So now this might just be the beginning of the Burger Rev cooking channel. So, but hopefully it's all good. And if you guys test these recipes, and make sure that you let us know if they work, okay? And not if they work, but you know, if they become part of your family, like dinner tradition kind of thing, and that'd be so cool. So again, Jeff from Burger Rev, just want to thank you. Support local, and within this time of this COVID-19 thing, be safe, everybody. I hope really that this has been okay. Like this had like a little bit of time off to your things, what you guys been doing, just sitting down and chilling, and stay safe.